talk about what needs to be happening with our veterans and how they should be treating better. They deserve so much better.
Jobs are the important thing. We can't give jobs to illegal aliens, and we've got to put our veterans, especially our disabled veterans, at the top of the list. They all have to be guaranteed a job. We're all victims of what's happening in Washington, but the fact of the matter is I have come to the conclusion that the job is the most important thing you can give to somebody. And Baltimore County has got to become a jobs first county. Not just pro-business, but jobs first. Train them, educate them, match them up, employ them. As Baltimore City is concerned, that is definitely a failed leadership issue. The mayor made a big mistake by restraining law enforcement right from the beginning at McDONOUGH. If they would have fired some tear gas canisters and pepper spray, then those young high school kids wouldn't go near the place. And that's what they should have done. As far as ethics are concerned, I know some people remember when Dallas Stance was playing that little game as superintendent where he was a consultant for that company out of Chicago and he was getting paid, and then being the superintendent of schools in Maryland, he rewarded that same company with $1 million or $800,000 contract, right?
Yes.
To me, that was an ethics violation. Well, the fellow you talked about earlier, Schmidt,
Yes,
was the president. Larry Schmidt said, yes, it was a violation, but all they did was slap him on the hands. They said, Dallas, you've been a bad boy, but if you're good in the future, we'll forget about it like it never happened. Well, I felt, as a representative of the people who has a fiduciary responsibility for the people's money, that was an $800,000 contract for the taxpayers. So I filed an ethics complaint, a legal ethics complaint against Dallas Stance, and I won. He got convicted on that issue. Now, they would have let it go. I didn't let it go. I felt, you violated the law, brother, and guess what? I'm going to make sure that it's on your record. So we won a victory for the people there. Can I get a copy of this stuff by any chance?
Yes, I'm going to be putting on Dundalk TV. What would you like to say about Pat?
Well, I think he's got a lot of good qualities that I like. I always felt he was a straight shooter. He didn't pull the punches. He said it like it was. I've never heard him retract a statement.
What would you like to say about Pat, and why should people vote for him?
Well, I think Pat is going to do a lot to bring jobs into this state. Also, too, taking care of the illegal immigration and cut the big spending in D.C. Also, too, as far as like nuisance with Section 8 housing, I think he's going to take care of that.
Why do you support Pat McDonough?
Pat's going to kick butt on some of the issues we have right now. Number one thing he hit on is the drug problem. The drug problem in Dundalk is horrendous.
A lot of people in this country, and anytime any elected official gets involved on the illegal alien issue, you can see the reaction from the people that this is an issue that is very important to them on a whole lot of different levels. Like what you mentioned is called economic justice, jobs. For example, you have Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake saying she wants illegal immigrants to come to Baltimore. Well, she's got a 60% black minority youth unemployment rate. What about them? What are they, chopped liver? Don't they need jobs? You want to bring in competition for jobs? Illegal immigrants don't come to America for jobs to become lawyers or teachers or mayors or state legislators. They come in and work in unskilled labor jobs. And do you know, the Wall Street Journal wrote an article that the unemployment rate among illegals is lower than the unemployment rate among American citizens. And the fact of the matter is, they say, well, how did they get that figure? Well, they have ways of getting the figure. But the fact of the matter is, you take a look at Baltimore City and Baltimore County. Baltimore County, the poverty is growing dramatically. It's growing because of Section 8 housing, and it's growing because of illegal immigrants coming into the county. We are a sanctuary county. Kevin Kamenetz and Police Chief Jimmy Johnson will not report criminals that are arrested to the immigration authorities. We are just like San Francisco and Baltimore City. Nobody knows it, but we are. The new county executive is going to have to stop that. It's got to go. Then we have the job issue. But we also have drugs. We have a heroin problem, a heroin epidemic in Baltimore County and in Maryland. 80% of the heroin that comes into the United States comes across the borders from Mexican cartels. That's who's bringing the heroin in. Now, people will always say, number one, we've got to seal the border. Yes, we've got to seal the border. But domestic enforcement is important. We have to have a E-Verify program, which is a computer-driven program that in 10 seconds can tell an employer whether or not you're an American citizen. We need to have E-Verify all across the country.